Tom, what was it like inside?
Yeah, really good. We've been able to come over here for a number of years, might have been 6, 7, 8 years now. I think since Goody's been the coach, we've come over to the Shrine the day before the game and usually had a guest speaker. Really special speaker today. Paul told us his story. Served in Afghanistan, lost a leg to a anti-personnel mine. He was crawling behind a machine gun when it went off and his foot must have just flicked it. And then lost pretty much his whole leg, and told us the story of how that happened, his sporting career before that, and sort of ran us through the rest of his life essentially and the process he's gone through with dealing that and how important the day is to him.
Does that put, I guess, a lot of chat about the 0-5 start?
Yeah.
It's a different spin on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, not too worried about 0-5 when you've got both legs. Look, it was pretty incredible to hear his story. He wanted to try and tie the parallels between serving and sport, and obviously that's a tough one to do, but he talked about the messages they sort of convey to each other and their teammates, I guess, and the trust they need to have in each other. His life was saved by one of his teammates. One of the females there had to drill into his bone marrow to give this sort of fluid that kept him alive, and then they tourniquet his leg and got him to safety. They said, "You've got an hour before you die," typically, and they got him there and saved him. So he just talked about the trust you've got to have in your teammates and the preparation they do, and really quite incredible. And he thought his sporting career, he's a professional Muay Thai boxer, set him up for his career in the armed services.
Hearing all that, how significant is it for you to be a part of this round?
Oh, always been an awesome round, awesome game of footy to be a part of, but the round itself's always been great. I was lucky enough to go to Gallipoli, I think 10 years ago, and see ANZAC Cove and see how tiny the beach is. And when you see it, and you see there like tens of thousands of people landing on that beach and climbing up this mountain into these trenches, that sort of put it in perspective for me when I got to see that. So I was very lucky, and just being part of the footy game to, I guess, pay respect to those people that have done that, and then our current servicemen and women who do the same thing now. So awesome round of footy to be a part of, but probably more important, all the stuff that goes on here during the week at the Shrine.
Did you feel a bit of relief having got that win on the board finally this year?
Yeah, definitely some relief, just a bit of fun coming back into the footy, bit of joy being part of a winning team. It goes missing when you're 0-5 and you definitely feel a bit flat. But yeah, awesome game to be a part of last week and have a good win. And especially for younger players who'd lost the first 5 or 6 rounds, they were saying when they come off the ground, they go, I could get used to this. So really happy for them as well.
Goody's been pretty, good throughout the whole period and very measured. How has he been internally, and how important was it to get the win for a coach who, I guess it's hard not to hear the amount of pressure that he's been put on externally?
Yeah, definitely pressure, but I think I know for a fact that Goody boxed it out pretty well. He's probably not watching the footy shows at night. But yeah, you do feel the pressure and you try and stay away from it, but it does come, and people want to, as soon as one loss turns into 2, 3, 4, 5, it starts to compound on itself. But we were really focused on trying to get the internal stuff right, and even on the weekend, everyone wanted to talk about how good our offense was and Cozzy kicked 5 goals, but we didn't speak about offense during the week. We train through drills, but we didn't talk about that pre-game as a focus. It probably came from the rest of the game being in really good order. So hopefully that's the same situation this week. That sort of stuff comes out. There's guys who are just naturally talented who can bring offense, but getting everyone to buy into the defensive side is what probably turned our game around.
Did it feel like everything sort of just clicked on the weekend? Goody's obviously been speaking about the change in direction, I guess, of the game plan. Did it feel like all that work you've been putting in, it sort of just like clicked? Yeah,
I guess so. I think, especially because we hadn't been scoring, a little bit of scoring early might have made us feel a little bit better and the confidence gets going. But I think our training weeks had been really solid, but it hadn't transferred into the game yet. And last week was probably our best week of training and preparing. And then that transferred into the game. And we had a short and sharp session yesterday. It's a tough week this week to do much training. With a 5-day break, you typically only really have one training session. So this week was more about the mental preparation and the game planning and the review from last week. But hopefully we can translate that same form into tomorrow night.
How good is Cozzy? I know you don't want to speak about the player, but he was pretty good.
He was pretty good. I think he got his game rated. We rate our games out of 7, and then the coaches do the same. I think he was the first one in a long time to get a 7 out of 7 from the coaches. So, which is normally that's Gary Ablett territory where you have 40 and kick 4. So he was spectacular. Awesome to see him do it and see him having fun out there as well.
What's he like around the club? I know there's been a fair bit. I know he's contracted, but there's been a bit of chat about WA and a potential move at the end of the year. How is he at the club and the relationships he's got with you guys?
Never spoken about by the players. In any of those situations where players are uncontracted, guys aren't going around talking about yeah, what is he going to leave? What's going to happen with trades? That sort of stuff. We don't talk about that. Around the club, he's a quiet guy. Like he keeps to himself a lot. The way he stands out is his fashion. Comes in with different outfits every day, looking really good. I come into my baggy trackies and oversized t-shirt and makes me look pretty bad. But he's a fun kid, but he's quiet, keeps to himself. You see his life come out when he gets out on the training track. So, but great person, lovely family. He brings his little daughter along to training quite a bit, which is fun. And yeah, he's just a great guy to have around.
What's it going to be like coming up against Adam Uze, as a senior coach of another club now?
Yeah. Probably not as relevant for my position, but the mids who had a lot to do with him love him. Like I know Christopher Tracker, he always puts on his accent and takes him off in training. So that's been funny. But nah, look, probably doesn't have that much relevance to the way we play. It's probably more for the coaches, knowing the way he wants to coach. What's he taken from our game style? What does he know about how we like to play? But for the players, probably not a huge point of emphasis for us.
You said last week that training was the best week of training you had, and Goody was really big on the fight and the pressure. You said you're going to see it this weekend. How did it differ? What was different from previous weeks?
Essentially just trying to put more pressure on the ball. So I think we were sitting off a little bit too much, trying to corral, and a lot of it, look, it's what you teach under 10s is just go and tackle the body, get to the body. So that's all we really focused on, was getting the ball back quickly, and that translated into the game, and then the offense came from that. So it's really just the drills you put in place, put in drills where we can practice the pressure, and then how does that translate into the rest of the game. So you only get a minimal amount of training during the week in season. In the pre-season, you've got 2 hours, 3 hours out on the track every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In season, you might do 30, 45 minutes on a main training day. So you've got to be really good in that short period of time you have, just because there's so much emphasis on recovery. There's guys who are dealing with different injuries week to week. So it's probably tougher in season to implement changes.
How's Stephen May looking?
He was good this morning. I think he got through his stuff this morning. I don't know for sure if he's been confirmed, but he looked a hell of a lot better this week compared to last week when he trained. He didn't look right. So fingers crossed he should be good to go.
You must have been, I know it's last week now, but to see your brother out there playing after a lot of injuries, I know it was the opposite team, but what sort of a experience was that to see him out there playing?
Oh, I was so happy for him. I felt a bit awkward playing against him because he's had such a tough run. The first 2 years at Carlton, he played the first game or two and then had back stress fractures and back surgery and missed those years. When played a year of VFL, went really well, and then he played his first game at Freo last year and did his knee in the first round. So I almost felt a little bit awkward. I didn't want to be involved in too many contests with him because I was like, what if I'm responsible for injuring him again? And I've almost felt like I'm the caretaker for him after having him at Melbourne for 6 years before he moved on. I feel a little bit responsible for him having a successful career, and I want him to go really well. So I didn't want to be involved in too many contests with him. I think we had one each. He won one, I won one, so we were happy to call it even and move on from there. But I was just pumped to see him play AFL footy again, and I thought he played pretty well.
Thanks for watching, D's fans. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe right here.